Tonight on Hashtag Actors Life, we're reviewing some of the season's best and most memorable moments and never-before-seen footage. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Hashtag Actors Life. I am your host, Shamaria, and before we get to our guest of honor, I would like to take a moment to discuss.
I think people have to be patient and have to give themselves the time to learn.
Right.
You know, it's a craft,
Right.
and it's part of an art. So if you want to be a ballet dancer, you go for years to school. And so to be able to learn your craft and be able to depend upon it when you're on a set, right? And there are 80 people running around,
Right.
and you have a job to do too, and you may have to do lots of takes, and you're going to have to use your craft to be able to do that. And I think people look, you know, for the end.
Right.
And don't take their time to explore and learn.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just a lot of grinding, and it's a lot of, especially now, everybody's outraged about something. You always got to protect everybody's feelings. And nobody understands, like, the process of figuring out what's funny about anything, it requires stumbling. So you might, along the way of figuring it out, like what's really funny about this thing, say some horrific stuff. And that's kind of just part of the process. Now, especially like younger comedians, they don't know how to do it, so they almost always start at this extreme that's like offensive and not funny or whatever. But that's part of the process. Like, we were just talking about Kobe off camera. Kobe didn't come into the game dunking and throwing up like 80% from the free throw line. Kobe missed a lot of shots. You know what I mean? He shot a lot of air balls.
Right.
Comedy is the same thing. Your air balls are just in front of people, and they have the right to get offended and say you're a horrible person. I'm gonna go watch Vine.
And I continued my training after Alabama State because people often ask me, should I continue going to school after I get my undergraduate degree? If I go study theater in undergrad, should I go to grad school? And I always tell people, you have to ask yourself, did you get everything that you need to give you a solid foundation in your craft that will give you the courage and the tools and skills to get out there and actually try to create a living, have a life, make a career out of performing. And for me, I really wanted to get stronger in the acting portion of my life. So I got accepted into the MFA acting program at UCLA. I continued to study there. I studied there for a year. It's a 3-year program. I studied there for a year because after the year, I felt like, okay, combined with the training that I received at Alabama State and this single year of training at UCLA, I'm ready to work. I feel like I have what I need.
And then I get something. But it was like, I look back now, like I'm in the city every day, whether it be acting class, auditions, workshops, or something regarding acting. When I first started, I probably came to the city like once a week, and that was only for acting class. And it was like so far that I've come, and it's just like, you think about those things, you know?
And that's something that a lot of actors don't realize is like, this is a profession. If you want to consider yourself a professional actor, you need to be putting in something every day for your career. You can't have like just a lazy day. Like, you're gonna be rusty if you get that one audition for the week and you haven't been doing anything, practicing, whatever it may be.
Right.
But when you are struggling and you're not quite doing what you think you need to do, find a good class. Find somebody who can help guide you, help shape you, because if the struggle is that hard, then there's something that you're missing and you're not aware of it.
A professional headshot photographer is different than a photographer who's a wedding photographer, a product photographer, architect, whatever. A professional headshot photographer, that person's job is to help you to manifest character, emotions, thoughts, feelings, things that are specific to roles that you played. Not just taking a picture like you went to a portrait studio. Because those pictures at the portrait studio don't possess the element that's going to get you a job in television and film. You know, they don't possess those elements.
So if you're an actor that, you know, you're not really caring about what anybody else's problems are on set, you know, you might not be developing the best reputation of being good to work with. You know, but if you are, you know, you don't necessarily have to have directorial or DP skills, but if you understand or try to understand what their plights are, you know, you can be nothing but a better partner to work with.
Yeah, and it happens. This is, you know, the nature of the business.
Wow.
Not everybody has chemistry together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if you have a table read, it's all about once you get on set and that timing and it's so technical. A lot of people think it's very easy. You get in there, you shoot, we're done. It's very technical. You got to know where your spots are and you know, reading your lines, and a lot of people get confused and then they lose sight of what they're, you know, what they're there for.
Right.
So it goes back to, like I said, getting that strong actor from my director to be able to perform on set.
It's important to stay sharp at all times because there's some things that we just can't control, like the lockout. Players couldn't control that. It happened. So if there's no projects coming along that fit our type or fit our look or fit our age category, we have no control over that. But now if there's 20, 40, 50 things going on that you should be auditioning for, but you're just not, that means you did something to where it's not happening, you know? Or it just means that you have representation that has 20 to 30 people that fit the same look you do. And they have 2-3 slots, and that means that right now, we got to pick 3 people out of the 30 that we have that fits this role of going and audition. And it's just like an NBA team. You can have 3 good point guards, but one got to start, one is backup, and one is only in garbage time. You know, so it's like, then the way that you control that is so hard. It's very rare that a garbage time point guard ever gets to start on the team that he's on. Sometimes you got to lead your team and look for a better opportunity. And that's the same way with like agencies, you know?
Wow.
Just because you're on the same team don't mean y'all playing for the same thing.
Wow.
I believe it's like, it is really a mindset, and I'm like the point that you're making as far as like help me helping you,
right,
so to speak. Like, and so for me, I feel like the true benefit I believe in having an agent or manager is sometimes just getting those legit like big roles, like those TV network, those you know, movie like big time roles. Other than that, I mean, and it's a major benefit, and I'm not at all bashing it because I'm still looking for an agent. However, I do believe that for those that it takes a little bit longer, you do appreciate the process, and so when you do finally get that agent or that manager, you still, you know, you're still hungry for it, and you're still working and submitting yourself because you knew how far you actually gotten in the place that you are now and where you need to continue to go.
First and foremost, a lot of actors sabotage themselves when their nerves kick in. They don't know how to just take that one beat. They apologize. I'm sorry, and then they get themselves flustered because then they start looking through the pages. And it's at that moment, all you gotta do is just take that 2 or 3 seconds, go back up to the top of whatever paragraph you were gonna do, and just start from there. Don't break character. Once you break character, you've lost me.
I don't know if this is anything that's useful to the show, but what I've learned, I auditioned people one time. I wrote for a show and they let me sit in on the auditions. The people who cared the least did the best. The people who really want the job, they come in and they're nervous, and that makes me nervous, and then the whole room is just uncomfortable, and then I know you're not gonna get it, you're gonna bomb, you're too nervous. And then you sit there and you screw up the audition for 3 minutes, and I gotta sit there and watch you be an idiot for 3 minutes. I have a day to live, and you're just ruining my day with your stupid nervousness. Get out of my face. Wanting the job is one of the most poisonous things in this business. It's so weird how this all operates. You almost got to go in there and just be light, and the guys who didn't care came in like, whatever. Like, then it's like, oh, this is fun. I'm kind of having fun watching this guy have fun.
So that's the way the whole game gets played. You know, I had the opportunity, this was a long time ago, my friend became vice president of casting at Warner Brothers.
Oh, wow.
So I said to him, he was an actor, and decided that's not for me.
Yeah.
So he wound up getting this incredible job, which he was wonderful at. So I said to him, may I just sit in the back once when you're auditioning for something major? I'm not going to sit with you. I just want to watch.
Observe.
And it was amazing. When people walked into the room and were like, where am I? Where do I put my things down and all of this? And you already go, whoa. So is that someone you are going to hire when you're putting out a show that costs millions and millions of dollars? But someone just walks in, don't be their best friend, but say good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, put your stuff down and figure out where you need to be. Finish, say thank you, and leave.
When I first started acting, I also interned at a casting agency.
Nice.
And I learned so much by just being behind the scenes and just watching actors audition and just hearing how they talk about actors and hearing why maybe an actor doesn't get something. And sometimes, most times out of none, it doesn't have anything to do with us.
Right.
Well, most of the time, I don't care even if you're a working actor and sometimes a very well-known actor, you know, you have to audition.
Right.
And most auditions, you don't get the part.
That's true.
So if you're going to beat yourself up, and you know, I worked closely. I worked on sets in Los Angeles, so I got to hear, you know, what was going on, and I worked on TV shows, so I got to talk to the casting directors. 9/10 of who is chosen has nothing to do with what you did as far as acting. They may want someone taller or fatter or smaller or lighter or whatever, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Right.
But what we can do is walk in and say to them, not say it, but this is what I have to offer to this.
Right.
And then you walk out and go to Starbucks and move on.
Even though I've done a lot of work and I have a reputation in the industry, there's still people that's done less work than me that have bigger names. You know, so it's like I look at it this way. My talent is what gives me the advantage over everyone, right? But it's still fair game because the producers may look at me and say, too young, too stocky, we want darker skin, we want taller, we want more charismatic, we want handsome, we want ugly. And that's something that I have no control over.
Absolutely. It has nothing to do with it. It's all about what the director is looking for. If he has this certain look, vision in his mind, it is my job to bring it to life.
Right.
And it's your job to actually make his vision come true. But I've got to bring all of the prospects to him to be able to make that choice.
I have to tell this story. It's a great story, and I talk about it sometimes in class. So there was this series being shot, and they did like 2 episodes. It wasn't aired yet. And the 2 leads, a guy and a gal, something was wrong. So they called me. I was still living in LA, and they said, would you look at this and come on in and talk to us? And, you know, and I said, these 2 people have no chemistry. And what I mean by chemistry is they don't know how to play with and off each other.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those, you know, like romantic kind of comedies where they fight, and then of course they fall in love.
Right.
And there was this kind of thing wasn't there. And I said, it's not there. This isn't the right coupling. And what I found out, this is amazing. So this is why you should never take it personally.
Right.
So I found out the guy who I thought was the weaker of the 2. The producers wanted one guy. The network wanted another guy. So they settled on this guy.
Oh, wow.
Which no one really wanted.
Wow. Wow.
Now think of all the wonderful actors that went in for that part.
Yes.
And this is what happened. So what are you going to do about that? I happened, because I was working the other side of it, to find this out.
Wow.
But there's nothing we can do about things like that. Nothing.
Like that's
You really have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself about it too, because it's not for everybody.
It's not. That's just the reality.
That's the
It's not for
reality of it.
everybody. Yeah.
It's not. And you have to dig into your truth and be honest about, is this what I really want to do? Is this all I want to do? Is this the thing that drives me? Is this the thing that gives me life? Is this the thing that brings me joy? And if it's not that, if there's even a little bit of it that's like, I enjoy doing it, but then
Or I like it.
I like it, but
Yeah. Now, it gotta be more than I like
it has to be, because I like it is not enough.
Right.
It's not enough for what the world is going to throw at you. It's not enough to survive that.
Right.
So you get a lot of people wasting their life with I like it, and sometimes if it's an I like it, then you need to figure out what you love.
Right.
The first time I bombed on stage, I shouldn't say that term, bombed as an Indian. Bombing on stage is like when you don't do well. It's not like I'm a terrorist. It's it's the first set I ever did went really well. Second set I was super excited, went back to the same place, invited a bunch of people. This girl I liked came through. It was horrible. I yelled at a guy who may or may not have been a special needs kid. I don't know. I got pulled off the stage, and I did not get on a mic again for 2 years. Like, I was like, this was the worst experience I've ever had in my life. I couldn't talk for a couple days afterward. I couldn't eat. Horrible. But it's just something that's in your soul when you want to do this comedy thing. Like, you can't really shake it. You know what I mean? It's kind of what you are.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think it's all about perspective. If I go in hoping, wanting a job and don't get it, then I'm broken.
Right.
But if I go in really to give a performance, a free performance, and something may come of it. And if that happens, then I'm okay. If it doesn't happen, I can let it go because I didn't go in needing the job. Right. It's only when you go in needing the job and have to get it, and they reject you, you're sad.
Broken.
I'm broke.
I really can't tell you why, but for some reason the forces have come together and this special thing happens, right? And they were prepared for it to happen most of the time. You see?
Yeah.
So when the moment happens, you're prepared to step up. And that's what I mean by your craft. Because if you're going to get a major role in a feature film, then you better know how to get through those months and deal with 14 hours a day and be able to deal with a lot of stuff happening that you would not expect to happen, but it does. And deal with all that and do your job really well.
Right.
You see? So you've just got to be ready for that to happen. Right? And I'm not saying one shouldn't hope for that. But if you look at all the actors, right? If you're not satisfied and happy until that happens, I don't think you should do this.
Wow.
I don't think you should do it because you're probably going to spend most of your life unhappy.
That's one of the biggest challenges, not just as an artist, but as a person.
Right. It is.
You know what I'm saying? We recognize it in the artistry clearly because that's where we are in showbiz. But as a person, it's that old saying, it's always greener on the other side, the grass is. And in the business, it's always a challenge because we've all been there, whether we verbalized it or we've internalized it. We've had moments where we see our peers, or we see someone that we, in our head, is less talented than we are, less gifted than we are, don't sing as well, or act as well, or dance as well, or whatever as well as us. And we watch them and we watch their career from our perspective, and I'll say it, from our perspective, we watch their career take off. The reason I say from our perspective, because even when we see those people and the positive things seem to be going on in their lives, we don't necessarily know that what's really going on, right? So I always tell people, and when I tell people, I'm ultimately telling myself, I'm reminding myself, because I need to be reminded.
Right.
Keep your eye on your prize. Keep your eye, stay on your track, stay in your lane. It's like driving. They say don't text and drive.
Right.
Because when you look down, when you take your eye off the road and you look down, you have a tendency to veer off of your path.
You have to re-energize yourself. You have to stop and think, what can I do that doesn't depend on someone else saying yes to me? Can I do this? Can I take a class? Can I, do a short movie with some friends? Do you say? Give yourself something that we have to continue to nurture that artistic part of ourselves. Listen, otherwise what happens is that part of ourselves we turn against ourselves. Do you see?
Yeah.
And so you have to, but when you start to feel that happen, you have to find a way to reach out there.
Always be positive about you and the situation. One of the things that I always say, there have been many jobs that I have never gotten, but I've also never been rejected. It's not about me. It's about the job. It is never a rejection of you.
Listen, you wouldn't make it if you didn't get resistance, man. You understand that? You're not gonna make it if you don't get resistance, because everything great needs resistance.
Right.
A plane only takes off because of the resistance. You know what I mean? So as it's taking off, the more wind's hitting it, it takes off and it's able to glide. You know what I mean? So the more resistance you receive, start getting happy, because it's just like, yo, it's about to happen.
I'm gonna follow this quote Ava DuVernay said. She said, the only thing that moves you in this industry is your work.
Anything that's given can be taken away, but the things that you earn is rightfully yours. And he was like, at the end of the day, if he gives you that role, that was a favor. So now, do you have the same grit, grind, and ability to go out and do that again? The business is about sustained success, not temporary. So he was like, earn everything you get. Everything you get, you earn it.
So, what words of encouragement do you have for up and coming, comics and actors out there who are a bit frustrated with the business?
Camera 3, is that where we are? Camera 3?
Yeah, we on 3.
Be a doctor. Words of encouragement. It ain't worth it. All right? You're never gonna be happy. You wanna be happy? Meditate.
I always say, if this is for you, you're going to pursue it no matter what. If it's not your passion, then you need to be true to yourself. That's number one. But if it is your passion, then never say never, and never accept the word no. And just know that no is just another step for you to step on to get to another step till they say yes.
Do yoga. Camera 1, what you got my happiness for? Happiness is a choice. It's a choice I didn't make.
I have to say that you have to look at it as your one away. Don't ever look at it as a rejection, always, always, always.
Right.
It's a process. You just got to look at it, it's like, I might not get this one, but the next one is going to be mine.
Right.
So I'm one away. Don't feel defeated.
All right, I chose Camera 2 to be a comic. That's not a good choice.
That's not a good
That's a fool's choice. Chasing happiness. Happiness within you. Read a Bible or something.
Don't give up. Work hard, work your ass off, work harder than anyone else you know.
Quit. Quitting is not a bad move. Don't let all these inspirational books fool you, all right? The secret is lying to you.
And stay positive. Don't be negative. Don't bring that negative energy around, because people can feel that. Like, I mean, a negative actor, I can feel within 2 minutes. I want to get the hell away from that person. And that negative energy will come with you into the casting office. And you might not know it, but subconsciously, the casting director is going to see you and he'll be like, I don't know what it is, but that person's not right. There's something wrong with that person. So keep positive, stay hungry, and train.
The secret is lying to you. The secret is quit.
If you continue to stay true to yourself, work hard, success is yours.
Stay true to yourself. There are no shortcuts to success.
Exactly.
I think I'd say there's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So collect stories from those people around you. Educate yourself. There's a lot of stuff to read. And the reason you want to do that is so you don't feel alone.
Right.
It's not going to prescribe your path per se, but you'll at least know there are some options and how to move.
Right.
Definitely take notes. People will give you advice, and if they're smart and wise, you want to write them down because you're going to be blue one day. And if you can just turn to a page of inspiration, first off, it stands as a journal, something that's lasting that you can hold on to as your experiences continue to come and go.
They don't like the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. I'm the only person who cares about you.
If you create wealth in your art, the money will follow.
Everybody else is trying to make money off telling you to chase your dreams. Go chase other things that make you happy, like cupcakes, cookies, attainable things.
I'm gonna just say, work hard, study, learn the business, network, keep a positive attitude, and also live your life.
That's true.
Yeah, live your life and have an audition, let it go. Have fun, make mistakes, fall on your face, but learn, grow. It's very important.
Go chase other things that make you happy, like cupcakes, cookies, attainable things. You know what I mean? Things that will happen.
Right, and give you like an extra 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But you be happy with it.
But you be happy. And they're not even allowed to make fun of fat people anymore, so you don't walk on the street and get made fun of. It's a great life.
On the next hashtag Actors Life, we're taking a second look at our wonderful Limelight performances as well as our hashtag Actor Life sketches with commentary from the director. Don't miss it.
I'm gonna try that one more time. Can I try it one more time? I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I'm an artiste. Hold on. Don't make me take these earrings off. So are we still rolling?
Take your time.
Me? Okay.
We still rolling, right? We better still be rolling. No. We ain't? No. Well, hold on. I told you I am the director. I say cut, I say action.
This train is bound for glory.